Jacobs, and like 700 other Jacobses. I think the office was here. Stevie's grandfather is there.
The corner of,
Yeah. Right.
Is he Jacobs?
Yeah. It was like,
Rabinowitz, remember him?
I'm bringing in the mail, right? Your grandfather says to me, "You Tom's boy?" Yep. He says, "No." He says, "Your grandfather's a great man. Your father's a crook." Hello?
How are you?
So I go back. I said, "Dad, that guy's a real jerk." I was just kidding.
Speaking of saving money on stamps, who was the guy that used to get the letters? Open them up, wait a minute, open them up, say return to sender, and put it back in the mail with his answer. Tell the story, Cindy.
Well, what's his name?
Herman Horowitz.
He had two habits. At that time, I was still working for Al Whittaker. I spent 3 years without. First thing he does, watch education with Herman Horowitz. He does 2 things. One, you know how some envelopes are printed, postage, not stamped, but printed.
Meter.
Friendly from corporations. Right. They have a little window. He would make his letter, fold it in such a manner that your address came out the window. And since there's no postmark other than the prepaid, you get your mail. 2, his writs were always written that you could agree, every county, every paragraph he wrote, you could agree. And if you got tired and didn't read the last word, the last word is the one that stopped you right over here. He would always put the clinker at the very end, so you have to be patient to read every word.
He also would mooch rides for
Well, talk about the ride, that's the
ride.
other.
he just hopped in your car.
Right.
I forget who it was.
Yeah.
He hopped in your car.
Hadn't seen you.
I'm going home, I don't know where you are.
Hadn't seen you. Herman lived in West Haven, hadn't seen the what? Patch. Well, the
Patch.
senior, Patch. The former Lieutenant Governor of the state of Connecticut. He lived in West Haven, but somehow or other, he moved to Madison, Guilford, or someplace out there. Herman jumps into his car and says, "Take me home." They live in East West. He doesn't know. He's to Madison. So drives all the way to Madison. He said, "How come you didn't take me home?" He said, "This is my home."
Now, I heard that he was a hoarder too, wasn't
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hoarder.
Yeah. Oh, the old.
A
Yeah.
hoarder.
Oh, yeah.
He had
His office was like-
filled with stacks
There was a movie where when Matthew played a lawyer, they had this terrible office thing. It was just like that.
And it just goes to show you, if you spend your life mooching rides off of people, hoarding newspapers, and setting out mail in used envelopes, that you live to be 100.
Who you go to hell?
Herman lived to be an old man.
Wait a
He
minute.
lived to be about 100 years old.
Steve, ask your father. He's doing fine. Please, ask him. You know, he's.
One time I came in the office with my car on a Saturday. I normally didn't take my car. I took a 12-minute bus. And early Al Winnick says to me, "Cindy, would you take me down to the railway station?" And normally I'd be another hour or 2. I drive down Church Street and stop at the light over here. I'm going to take a ride over here and go to the railroad station. I'm stopping at the light. Herman jumps in the back seat of my car and says, "Take me to my car, which is over there somewhere." And I'm arguing with Herman, and finally Al Winnick says, "Take him over there." He gets out and goes for cash.
Herman was, yeah.
Well,
Who's the other one?
You know, one of the things that characterizes our bar association is its collegiality, and this is kind of a microcosm of that. Unlike a lot of other bar associations, we, for the most part, get along pretty well. And in by the fact that we're all doing different things, and we're all very different kinds of people. Drug withdrawals, for example, is a different sort of guy.
I beg your pardon?
Turn up your.
I have it on. I missed you last remark. What was it?
I was just talking about how all these different kinds of people come together and all tend to get along in our bar association,
Right.
which is uncharacteristic of a lot of other bar associations.
Right.
What about, do you have any thoughts on having been members of this bar association for as long as we have, and being part of this collegial movement, what you're seeing of younger lawyers today and how they get along or don't get along?
I think young lawyers that I talk to are scared stiff that they're not going to have a job, they're not going to have a future. I mean, many of them hate practicing law. A lot of them, especially the women more than men, because there's a high testosterone, fat young male lawyers. They're very hard to deal with sometimes.
I don't really agree with you. I think there's less opportunities for lawyers because there's so many of them coming out of school. There wasn't enough business. We came in and we inundated Joe and another 25 lawyers post-war. It started to, insurance became a big issue. When I was a kid, nobody had insurance. Insurance came out, so you got some negligence cases. It grew with us.
One of the good reasons was, if you had a problem, you bring it to the table.
Yeah.
Frankly, and on the table, hear your issue, and you get advice. We have that, it's quite common. That was one of the reasons why I think we stayed together. There's an opportunity to essentially present the problem you have,
Especially
and
guys,
you get an answer to it.
especially guys in one or two man firms who didn't have big libraries or have decided to go
That
to
was
the
all of
library.
us.
Unless you had a ready-made library, sort of. People with different, like when I was younger, when we come here, there were guys who had much more experience. So they probably had had every problem that I run into, so I could ask them without having to spend half a day over the library.
It's kind of the precursor of this.
Yeah.
You talk about collegiality. This is sort of, from my point of view, one of the reasons why I'm 70 years old and I still will do it as long as I enjoy doing it, I don't. And to your point about the young lawyers, the nice thing about our bar and this association, to the point of collegiality, is this. We all know the reputations of the respective lawyers, for better or for worse. And they're very predictable. The nice thing about coming to this table is you get to know the personalities of the lawyers in town, and you get to, it becomes very predictable. So if you're going to be a tough guy, just be a tough guy all the way. Don't change your strike signs. Don't be a nice guy in the first inning and then stab you in the back in the ninth inning. You know what to expect. And that's been very helpful to me. I've learned so much from the people that I've had lunch from about what to expect and who's what and whatnot. That's been a very important thing to me, is to come and listen to Sidney and Joe and others, Tom Keys, talk about the players in the legal area, and the judges too, what to expect and what to get. So,
One thing we have to mention is the proximity of this place and the other places where you guys have got together for lunch to the courthouse, the different courthouse.
Walking distance.
Now, we're at 195 Church Street, or actually this establishment's address is on Elm Street, but diagonally across the street is the GA, which was formerly the Court of Common Pleas.
That's a very important.
We started before the new building.
Which was
when we
You
started.
started before the 121 Elm Street building?
No, the pillar building here is where we did all our law. The new
Howard
building,
Taft
the
became
new
president
building
after that.
down the street.
They had Teddy got beat. Oh, never mind.
And
Which Roosevelt are you talking about?
Teddy,
That building opened in 1974.
we were around
I
for
was
years.
at work at the time, so that's how I know that. But you know, there were this group was around before then.
You know, I think that the young kids coming up to law schools are terrific. They're just so much steeper in debt. That's horrible stress to the whole process. And the business is a lot tougher. The business is, there's a lot more lawyers, there's a lot more paperwork,
A lot less business.
but, you know, that, the people at this table, what they taught me is you treat everybody the same, you treat everybody well, and it works. So that's why you stay together for a long time.
And unfortunately, because they don't have the opportunity to get together like this on a regular basis, and they don't get together on a regular basis at
Any place, any place.
Hartford doesn't do it.
calls of the trials or at Short County,
Yeah.
they don't learn that.
Well, you know,
Well, that's the problem. I mean,
We were the only two.
that's society. I mean, there's less interaction at every level.
We were the only group in
Male
the
or
state.
female, we need, but.
well,
Nobody else.
the only one that state that has the United Day of Remembrance,
Yes.
whoever died that year.
You get credit for that.
Yeah, now that's my baby.
You know,
But I didn't create it, Dickie created it.
to get an idea how,
That's true.
Ed Reynolds.
to get an idea how realistic Lindy's was, the name of that restaurant, is I had a case with Al Moquette, he was with Frank Moran, and Al was a member of the code. And we couldn't settle the case, or didn't settle the case, and we never even thought about the case. Now, I worked for Al Winnick. Al Winnick read every letter that came out of his, that arrived, and then he would parcel them out. Frank Moran, where Al Moquette worked, signed every letter that went out. That's the difference. So one day, Al Moquette sends me a letter, "Dear Mr. Gimble, if you spent less time at Lindy's and more time on this case, we would have settled it a long time ago." Al Winnick reads the letter, and it's signed by Frank Moran. And I'm a young lawyer, married with a couple of kids at the time. I got very nervous. And then I looked on the bottom, I pulled Mr. Gimble, the A-R on the A-R-M on the bottom. It wasn't written by Frank Moran, it was written by I got nervous. So I warned Al Moquette for 60 years, don't ever write me a letter like that again.
Incidentally, he's still alive.
What's that?
Al Moquette is still alive.
Well, his wife is.
Yes,
The wife's not.
Well, gets young.
Right?
Well, gets young.
4 months.
Wow.
Better look at it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks old. 2 weeks old.
It was the 16th.
I want to throw something out to you. There was, and this is coming from a selfish place. There was that incident involving my father and John's wife.
I was there, I was in the courthouse. I was in the courthouse.
I was in the
that day.
courtroom.
Nothing to do with that.
It's like Babe Ruth that was there when he pointed.
Yeah, what do you remember?
I was standing near the criminal courthouse, which is around the corner from the main thoroughfare. And I'm looking over there and at recess there, I see for Howie Jacobs run by. Then I see Stanley run by. Then I think I see,
I was in the courtroom.
I think Ira ran by. What's going on? And they were running by as if there was a fire. And then, of course, I mostly found out that somebody was in the cleaner.
I was in the courtroom, and it was, Donald was a great guy with an explosive temper.
About this big.
And he just went crazy. I think Dickie didn't realize what was going on.
Now he knew exactly, because that was Dickie.
But anyhow, no, not at that instant.
I've seen him go, you didn't see it coming.
He knew lots of things, he was smart.
Constantly. But Salado would go and you couldn't anticipate. Something would happen and it would be like out of left field. And the only good thing about Donald, I liked him, was that, you know, in a couple of hours he would forget about it. But for those couple hours, you really tried to stay away from
He
it.
didn't have a memory for that. I remember that.
Dickie, your father one time, somebody
These three people here are bored.
in the old,
I know
the old programs,
But they're smiling.
quarter town like that. And somebody, he came out there, he was screaming and yelling, didn't like the price that somebody put on the So he comes up, my father and I were standing. Thomas says, "So it sounds like a decent price to me. Who the fuck asked you this?"
You know, if
My famous quote of Dickie Jacobs is, "She's a wonderful woman." And my everlasting image was, in the rain and the sleet and the wind, here we come and it's a parade. Dickie in the lead, clutching his big accordion file to his chest, followed shortly by Stevie with an equal-sized accordion file, followed by the lady client with an equally sized accordion file. All marching off to the courthouse because she was a wonderful lady. But your father, God bless him, is the sweetest, kindest hearted guy I know. Now, Sidney, I want
Hold on
you to
a
tell
minute.
the story
Whoa.
about Pat.
Fred, listen. You don't put that to a vote here, huh?
All right.
by the way,
I'm against,
That's
you're
my
against.
vote. That's
With all
my
due
vote.
respect,
That's
I
my
wrote,
vote.
yeah, I wrote with
Donald was in 2 wars, not 1 war. He was in World War II, and he was in the Korean War.
And he was a trainer for the Yale basketball team, and whose bags did he used to carry?
Bush, the senior, but he never carried them. He says, "Carry your own."
It was a baseball.
No, the basketball,
Oh,
who the basketball trainer was.
oh, Tony Lavelle.
Tony Bell. Like, what's the story with you and Pat on the fist fight? Come on, Sidney, own up to it.
And, well, look, he's dead now. I don't want to talk anything bad about him.
Okay.
He's gone. We had some words.
Let it be.
What?
Let it be.
That's right, leave it alone.
Okay.
The story about your father Dickie was, when he was going to somebody's wake or something,
Oh,
Howard said to him, "Somebody you know?"
Oh,
He never missed a wake.
well, what about the time, you may not know, about the time he went to a wake, and he gets to the wake and turns around, and the person whose wake he thought he was going to is standing there, alive and well.
Well, if you go to enough of them, you're going to have that happen.
What was the one where he goes to just to make sure the guy was dead? Who was that?
Who was the judge? The judge that, our contemporary judge, but a little older than us. A judge died, not this, a judge died, and John Golden is at the wake. He was the big,
I still have a job where I gotta work, so
yeah,
I.
he was the
Take care.
big, he was the
Good to see you, Jack.
he was the big Democratic kingmaker in Connecticut, John Golden. And this, I can't think of his name, but he's standing next to John Golden. He's a lawyer, and he says to John, he says, "I'd like to take his place." But John said, "Fine, we'll move him over, you get it."
Ira, do you remember my grandfather playing cards in the office?
Oh, yeah, what game we played? We talked yesterday.
So you had to walk from my office to get into your grandfather's office. We were on the 12th floor, the old trade.
Power building.
The old building on the corner.
Power.
What's his name? Mark Bob went downstairs. But I walked to my office, get into his office. And his practice, he wasn't doing much. I came in 61, visited that in 63.
But I've heard stories about my grandfather when when he was young, even when he was younger, playing pinochle in his office on a regular basis with Donald Filato's father.
And,
Dominic.
Avalon, I think.
and we've been with. But I got a story about your father in the old city court. I have to clean it up a little, but you'll get the message. You've never heard this one.
I've heard it.
City court, thank you. And the city court charges lascivious carriage, which doesn't exist.
Oh, Jesus, you want to tell us?
Well, Steve hasn't heard it. And, well, he'll hear it. Now, the judge is Senior Dominic Salato, and the prosecutor is Bernie Kopkine. And your grandfather was her lawyer. She's fined $5 to go. And she does this, she takes her dress and gives the judge a bump. It said, "There, Judge, that's for you." And then she goes to the prosecutor, he said, "There, prosecutor, that's for you." And then she huffs out, and Bernie Kopkine goes, "Nothing for Mr. Jacobs." You never heard that? Well, I was there that day. And that's another thing you don't see today. You don't see humor in the courtroom.
I never forget the day.
It doesn't happen.
Playing with her members,
Nobody's left.
and they were partners. And Brad had $150,000. Didn't know. Before they stupid,
We had a practice. We told us we don't use it.
poor Brad. For dinner was this little short guy, milk toast.
How about for each of you, your favorite memory of Walter? Just your one favorite memory.
Generation.
Just pick one thing, just your favorite memory. Could be good, could be bad, but your favorite memory of your Auburn career.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
So if each of you could just tell us your favorite memory from your career, your favorite moment of your practice, the one thing that stands out as your favorite memory. Could be a bad thing, a good thing, your favorite.
Today I retired.
Okay, your second favorite memory.
The day I came to the bar.
Well, one of the best days was, of course, when my daughter came with me for 3 years. Then she started having children, and she was torn between still practice. She lived in Simsbury at the time. Now she lives in Avon, and she was torn between giving it up or whatever. Daddy paid for law school, I want to give some back. And I told her, I was so happy. I said, "You're better off with the kids. You'll do more with the kids than the kind of stuff we handle here. It's more important what you're doing with the kids than listening to it in my office."
Favorite? I think I've enjoyed being a lawyer for almost the whole time. It's hard to, as far as personal favorite thing, the first time you win a big case, if you do trial work, the first time you win a big case. But other than $422,000, long time ago. These guys make it enjoyable. This is the type of thing you can enjoy. Is being around good people and funny people. We had arguments, and I can't tell you how many times the waitresses would say, "Guys, keep it down, don't swear." The other people are leaving. We used to occasionally force people out of restaurants. But these are good guys, and that's what you have nowadays. Or not as much nowadays, but that's what we had a lot of. I think that's one of the biggest differences in enjoying practicing law is being able to have guys like this that you're friendly with.
I know about a favorite day.
I had a favorite week. First week I started practicing, I got 3 new clients. One was Polish, one was Irish, and one was from Duke. I got a fee from the Irish kid from taking them over to the city court, $35. From the Polish guy out of the state, 6 months later I got a fee of $250. The guy from Newfoundland, I had a defense for property damage. My fee was a shot in the beer.
How'd you get a runner before you even started, John?
Sydney?
My favorite day is You know, I told you about my daughter, Pat. That was a big thing for me. I think you're a contemporary of her as far as the bar is concerned.
Yeah, she's a couple of years younger than us.
But anyways, I used to like to come to coffee with the guys. And you build up, everyone knew what kind of a person everyone else was. And we often have cases between each other. And I always found it very nice that you give me a little, and then I'll give you a little down the road. And I think that really was the important thing there, is that we all knew. And if somebody crossed the line, he was not a member of the group anymore. He became an SOB. You have to keep
Probably
your...
was before.
Well, he probably was before.
So in other words, there were people who were banished from the table.
Now, you don't banish him, there. You shoot him.
They sort of banished themselves. Oh, a name we forgot to mention is Alan Sewell as well. Another name that should be mentioned. He's in Florida for 6 months of the year. But, I don't know.
No favorite day. I was a lawyer. Well, two things. My wife, my oldest son, senior in high school. And my wife was hot to have go to Wiggins or Amherst, those kind of schools. They would be shy. He's a lawyer. And Margie was pushing him to go to Wiggins. And I suddenly got up and went upstairs. Senior in high school. I said, look, David, I know your mom is pushing me. It's my fault. He hadn't dated throughout high school. You know who they you're comfortable. I think yeah. He went. 5 kids with 5 years degrees. 4 graduates. To 1, 9 years. Barely. The 4th son barely graduated high school. We didn't find out his graduation. Thursday before graduation. His last grade passed. And smart guy. Kicked around. Did a couple of took courses in Southern for a couple of years. His best friend in high school's mother did something to him. She got him in part-time student. Took courses at Yale. Did well. Changed the degree program. Graduated high school in 1982.
Downstairs.
In 1995. The most thrilling day of practice, I guess. I've been on it for 14 months. Civil antitrust case brought by Institute Corporation. Came to the court. 7 million jury triple. 1.4 million. John Newman took it away with him. That was good. And they paid me by the hour. At my job, I got the retainer up front on a basis, which is fortunate. But in the civil cases, they paid with the civil case. They paid me all along, but helped that. I'm sure I would have multi-million-dollar losses.
Okay, Freddie, you can tell your story.
I'm the son of a divorced school teacher who worked 3 jobs, so my sister and I could have what we needed. We lived with my grandparents. And I never knew what it meant to be a lawyer. And one day an African-American couple came to see me from the South, and they would call me Lawyer Leaf, not Attorney Leaf, Lawyer Leaf. And they said, we need someone to stand up for you tomorrow in court. And what that meant to me was that when you went and represented someone, you essentially were putting yourself, your reputation on the line for that person. So I never understood until then a little bit about what a lawyer could be. Many, many years later, an African-American female lawyer told me that we're sleep doctors. And I asked her what that meant, and she said, we allow other people to sleep. So anytime I do that and I stand up for somebody, I feel good about that. And then, without repeating what everybody else has said about the ability to come here and sit down with people and talk sports, basketball, the stock market, and law, whatever, that's always very fun too. So that's what makes me still want to be a lawyer and still keep going.
Okay, time to go to work.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Right.
It's really helpful.
Thank you for
This is
sitting.
for the young lawyers who can see this and listen to it. Thank you.
You're interviewing anybody else?
You're the first. We're going to do everybody with good state company. Yeah, if you have names to recommend, we appreciate it. We're going to keep the waiting names.
Yes, ja bym po polsku dobrze. Rozumiesz po polsku, dzieci?
Piwa głowa. Piwa głowa.
Piwo co?
Głowa.
O, piwo